Ready? Good morning and welcome to our December community coffee. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. We're wrapping up a great year at the Alva Chamber. We just finished up our Candy Cane Cash. We held that promotion and gave away over $3,000 in chamber bucks and prizes. And our winner of the $2,000 chamber bucks was Jeff Lancaster. We also need to thank Paul and Deb Core for coordinating our Christmas parade this year. That was certainly a great event. And we need to congratulate Lauren Heaton. We actually tried to get her here this morning, but she was already booked for another gig. And by the way, if you need her for your event after January 1, you book through MRS, and if you need her, you have to schedule her. So very exciting. She is the first in Oklahoma history to receive that honor. So very exciting for Alva. She will be marketing us. I'm sure everywhere she goes, she'll say, "I'm from Alva, Oklahoma," and people will want to know where we are. So it's very exciting. I want to thank Leanne Least and Vicky Farris for having us here this morning, and I'll let you say a couple words.
Okay. Stay up.
Oh, okay.
This is for you.
Oh, thank you.
The Department of Rehabilitation Services has director's blocks, and we asked our director if we could have one to give and present to you.
Thank you so much.
It's a servant leadership because in our company we do have a thing called servant leadership where we help train other workers, the supervisors help us, her supervisor helps her, and you have helped promote people, promote businesses, and we are very proud.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk about the Department of Rehabilitation Services. I'm going to use the word "we" a lot, and that "we" includes small business because we're partners with small business. It includes Mr. Mossberg and Northwestern, Mr. Penka, because we partner with them all the time. Leanne, where'd Leanne go?
There was someone out there.
Okay. Leanne and I are the only two workers for 3 counties. We do Woods, Alfalfa, and major counties. And the department, and Brandy Alton, she was from Woodward. She went to school here. She went to Northwestern, got her bachelor's and her master's, and worked for Northwestern out at BJCC and has now become a voc rehab counselor. She started in Woodward and has moved to Enid. So I'm going to have Leanne and Brandy help me out if I get stuck. But anyways, the Department of Rehabilitation Services, we're under the umbrella of the Department of Ed, even though we are a standalone department in our own budgeting. We are approximately 75% federally funded, and the feds do match our state funding, which has been a great bonus to us, especially when the state funding has been cut. We usually get cut a little bit, but not always as much because we're matched. We get all of our rules and regs from the National Rehabilitation Act, the NRA, which when I first came on board, I'm like, NRA, what are we doing, with the National Rehabilitation? But, so National Rehab Act and the ADA, which Mr. Mossberg and I work hand in hand all the time on ADA issues, and he has been awesome. I just have to give kudos. So to help with accommodations, and not only accommodations for students, but also bringing clients, when he sees a need and thinks that we can help. We partner with Workforce. Workforce does a lot of the same things we do, they just don't work with people with disabilities, and we're all about working with people with disabilities. We have 5 divisions, VR, which is what Leanne and I are, which is just plain straight vocational rehabilitation. There's VS, which is visual, and I want to visit with Liz just a little bit because we've had a few changes in our VS things. We have the DDD, which is a Disabilities Determination Division, and that's the division that determines who does or does not receive Social Security benefits like SSI or SSDI. And we not only do it for our state, we do it for a few other states. And they were just given at the, was it at the awards or it was at the director's speech, he talked about we had over 97% accuracy in determining disability awards. We also support and have the School for the Blind and the School for the Deaf for the state of Oklahoma. So that's our 5 divisions. To get services for the Department of Rehabilitation, all you have to do is apply. But you do have to have some sort of an impediment to employment. We're all about employment. That's our whole goal. is employment. Everything we do from the day you apply to the day we close your case is geared towards employment. We may have a case open for 6 months. We may have a case open for 7 years. So it just kind of depends. If we take a student that's in high school that does our school work study program and then they go to college and they get a master's degree, we're easily looking at 7 years. So, and right now we have funding for masters. It's not something we always have, but right now we're fully funded. We have 3 priority groups. All of our priority groups are open. So that means we can pretty much take anybody that has very severe disabilities, quadriplegics, paraplegics, traumatic brain injuries, very severe disabilities, down to someone who has a mild and limiting, just say maybe specific learning disorder. So when we don't always have all those groups open, so we're excited to have all those groups open right now. The disability has to be something that is limiting and an impediment to employment. So if it's something like they don't like us to take someone just to do knee surgery, because they say, well, once you have your knee surgery, then you don't have a disability anymore. Well, I beg to differ because I've had 4 knee surgeries. But anyway, I will fight them on that one. But anyways, it has to be something that limits employment kind of basically long term. So the categories there basically are mental health issues, bipolar, severe chronic depression, anxiety, PTSD, substance use disorders, all those types of things. That's going to be an ongoing type issue that can be impediments to employment. Physical health, diabetes. The visual unit used to take diabetes. VR is back to taking diabetes. Okay, visual unit is only taking someone who is legally blind. So that means we will be, if you do have, you can make more referrals to us now. If they just have diabetes and they're not legally blind, we will take the case here. So Enid has our visual services. Heart disease, MS, TBIs, accidents. One of my favorite things is when we have someone who was healthy, viable, working. This sounds terrible. It's not one of my favorites, but it's one of the things. We see a lot of good things happen, and they're in an accident. And then we can go in, we can help them retrain. We can help them get accommodations to where they can gain and maintain employment with their new impediments. So that's one of the things I truly enjoy, being able to see and work with those types of things. Visual, we kind of talked about that. The visual unit, if you're legally blind, they're going to work with you there. They do a lot of in-home work, a lot of training, we have coaches and things to help people learn how to live and be successful blind. And then we also have deaf, and we do deaf. So the only thing we don't do is the legally blind, Leanne and I. Hearing loss, if you don't have to be totally deaf for us, you can just have a hearing loss issue, but it has to be an impediment. So, and lots of times if you have one sort of disability, you may have a second one that goes along with it. Like diabetics lots of times have depression. Mental health lots of times is co. You have substance abuse and mental health. There's lots of times you have more than one impediment to employment. Cognitive, that would be intellectually disabled, specific learning disability, comprehension problems, memory problems, all those types of things can all be disabilities. And we usually try to pick up students at about 16. We work with and partner with all the high schools. We have 9, counting the VOTEC, I believe, in our area. 11 counting the VOTEC, okay. That we partner with, and we do the schoolwork study program, which is where the school employs the student, but then we reimburse the school. And the student then learns those soft and hard skills on, how to follow directions, how to clock in and out, how to work with coworkers, all those really good skills that sometimes you need more time to learn if you have disabilities. And Leanne and I, in the last 5 years, I've been here 6, Leanne's been 5, we have been able to employ all of our schoolwork study students except for 1. So, and we feel very, very proud of that because that's a really huge goal. After someone is determined eligible, which that's my job, is to gather all the medical, psychological, social histories, maybe do some evaluations if we need so. We partner with Dr. Mark Davis. He does a lot of our psych evals. We determine their eligibility. If you're eligible for our services, it doesn't matter whether you have a very mild impediment or a very severe impediment. Once you're in our program, you're in our program. And you get the same services that are individually tailored to you. I'm going to use Jody as an example. She gave me permission. Jody was a previous client. We got to help her with her education, and we helped her do a van modification so she can drive to work, get to work, and that type of thing. So that's a perfect example of someone who was able to use our program and was very successful in our program. And that's our goal. I just can't emphasize it enough, is we want to be able to get people in, get them those services they need, get them those accommodations they need, and get them out into the workforce. Some of the things we provide are specialty needs, like a van modification. It could be drag and speak on a computer. It could be, say, if you're in a wheelchair, we can get the computer that sits in your wheelchair. To where you can use drag and speak if you're a quadriplegic. We do training. Now, we are not first pay on training. That's something that's changed. For a long, long time, Voc Rehab paid for college. But Voc Rehab is always second pay, so FAFSA or Pell has to come first. Any financial aid comes first, and then we come second. If the client is above our basic living requirements, then they pay part, and then we will pick up whatever. Say they're over our basic living requirements, just $100. They would pay $100. We would pay the rest. So it's not an all or nothing thing, which is really awesome. Training, work clothes, transportation, medical help. There again, we're last payee. We try to get other sources to pay for medical if possible. If not, then we pay. Counseling, job search, job preparation, job coaches. We're working very hard to get a job coach up in this area. We're busy in the office, and we can't get out in the field as much as we would like to really go out and take our clients and work with them on getting their jobs hand in hand. We do have some support employment companies, and they say they go statewide, and we've had a couple that have been doing better, but once they realize, Tulsa to Alva, oh my gosh, Oklahoma City to Alva, oh my gosh. So we're having a little bit more luck, but we're trying desperately to get a job coach in this area that can go with our clients more than we can. Obviously, employment. Those are the types of services. Can you guys think of any other services off the top of your head? Counseling by us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking that, like the ongoing vocational counseling and guidance. So if a problem does come up at work, or a problem does come up, if they're doing the work study program in the high school, we can always be involved in, working through those situations or problems and things like that.
Lots of times a liaison position in between an employer and that type of thing. One of the things that I really am very proud of for our department is we help people get off of SSI and SSDI. And every time we do that, just think of the money that we put back into the system. So, year before last, Lynn and I had 6 people that we just helped them. They got gainfully employed to the point that they were no longer receiving any SSI or SSDI and had their own insurance. So that's one of the big kudos. You do not have to be on SSI or SSDI to qualify for our services, though. You're automatically considered eligible or presumed eligible if you do, but you do not have to be on it. I asked my husband last night, I says, what's one thing that I always say is cool about my job? Because, sometimes you're too close to really, know what it is. And he says, it's when you help someone with some accommodations, like a farmer who couldn't work his farm, and you get him the accommodations and the equipment he needs, and he can farm. I said, oh yeah, that's right. It's just those things that a lot of it's very expensive, and some of it's not very expensive. It's just tailored individually. But it's just helping people get those jobs and keep those jobs. Not only for the economy, but just think what that does for someone's self-esteem. We want to work, most people. We want to be employed. We want to serve. And that's what this whole program's about. So it's a cool program. And everything is tailored individually for each person when we do the plan. Anybody have any questions? Our office, by the way, is in this building. We are down the hall right in the middle. We have 3 rooms. Actually, we have 4. So, and we would love for you guys to make some referrals. If you know of anybody that could use our services, make some referrals to us. We need to build our caseload, and I think Leanne has.
I just wanted to mention that we work really close with a lot of employers here in Alva, and really thankful for that because they help our clients and work with them extensively. And since we don't have a job coach, and I just want to thank them for that. So,
And the vendors.
yes,
We have vendors.
that help with medical services and visual and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
At this time, I would like to honor our December Chamber Member of the Month. It is my honor to recognize Alva Vision. Liz and Troy attended Northwestern, and then Troy went to Southern College of Optometry, and then they moved back and returned to work at the Alva Vision Clinic and have been there ever since. If you guys don't know, and I didn't know this till I read this, Troy is a past chamber president, and I will take note of that. Troy has been the the Oklahoma Optometric Association president-elect and president. He has also served on the Rec Park board. They are involved with Kiwanis Little Olympics, the First United Methodist Church, Rowdy Rangers, Northwestern Alumni Board, and the Northwestern Scholarship Drive. Liz is on the board for Bill Johnson Correctional Facility and was on a committee that helped create the mentor program in the Alva schools. She also served on the New Beginnings Board and the Mural Society, and I will note that Liz and Troy are going to celebrate this week their 40th wedding anniversary. So
Lynn took our pictures.
And Lynn took our wedding pictures, so that's awesome. Well, thank you guys for your outstanding service in our community and all you do, and thank you for being our Chamber Member of the Month. Thanks. Okay. Does anyone have any community announcements at this time? Anything going on that they'd like to announce? Quiet morning.
The Methodist Church has, I don't know if you've ever heard Angie May and her
Wind controller.
Wind controller. She is doing a concert with her friend that plays the harp and Jeannie Wade that plays the organ Sunday night at 6:30. And she is amazing. So if you have...
It's a neat sound if you haven't heard that wind controller. I mean, it's kind of like a flute, only it's different. It can make all different kinds of sounds.
It is absolutely beautiful. And Angie's been playing in a lot of the churches. She played in the Methodist church during our service earlier this fall. And I've been reading on Facebook that she's been going to a lot of different towns, Medford and Partner and Kiowa and all these different places playing her music. But if you have a chance, you'll be so glad that she did. Anything else?
I was going to let everybody know there's a table when you leave. First, help yourself and take some more food. There's tons of food. And then there's a table if you want to pick up some flyers and a pen and different things from us. Just help yourselves. So.
I know that the people that that have been through our office through the Voc Rehab have really appreciated, and I appreciate you for educating us in, what they're qualified for. And it's always, how do I say this? It's always neat to say, if you're really looking for a job, then they can help you.
Yes.
But you need to be looking for a job, not for a
Handout.
handout.
It's more important. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a Merry Christmas.